Are you a professional pillow fighter? Or a 9-to-5 low-cost time travel agent? Or maybe real estate sales on Mars is your profession? It doesn't matter. Whatever it is you do, however complex or intricate, Monday.com can help you organize, orchestrate, and make it more efficient. Monday.com is the one centralized platform for everything work-related. And with Monday.com, work is just easier. Monday.com, for whatever you run. Go to Monday.com to learn more.
Well, I don't see the point in waiting any longer, so let's bring her out. The star attraction, the one you came to see. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Miss Judy Gold.
Welcome back, Hennessy.
Thank you so much. Sorry, everybody, I'm back.
Hennessy was gone because I was in P-Town and L.A. Now Hennessy's back.
It was so fun.
And we can't talk behind his back anymore.
No. It was great listening to the shows.
Now, do you know Hennessy? Hennessy's a pre-op tranny.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
Well, that's how I like
to say
to.
she's a person that
No,
he's a person that likes to.
No, he's a guy.
I was born a dude, but
a guy. I can't. His explanation of it is so annoying to me.
It's simple. It simplifies it.
You know, I just thought he was a guy.
Thank you.
You did?
I thought he was a little effeminate guy.
Nice, thanks. Thank you.
Well, that's what he aspires to be.
That's sort of what I like. A delicate boy. That's what I got.
Delicate boy.
Delicate boy.
She sees me.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
I love you.
Anyway,
now.
so I'm sorry to the listeners that
someone I would have hung out with in drama class.
Mm-hmm.
I will take that as a compliment.
So
we would have made
Hennessy's back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
It's my second day in New York.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
And I realize, I have to say, I'm like so happy to be back in the groove and I'm not happy to be here. Like I went to Provincetown. I decided I was going to live at a Provincetown from mid-July until Labor Day. And just do my life. That would be my home base. I enjoyed it a lot.
And did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I enjoyed it a lot. And I usually come back and I'm like, okay.
I think if you'd stayed through Columbus Day, you would have been ready to come back.
Here's the deal. I have to come back because the kids, which we're going to talk about soon with our guest, because, Ben has to go to, has to go to high school. Sorry. And so I had to come back. But when he's out, I'm staying through the month of September.
Nice.
I've been trying to get this thing to catch on. Mem to Labe. You like that? Mem to Labe. I'm there, Mem to Labe. It's not catching
What's
on.
Mem to Labe?
Memorial Day to Labor Day. Mem to Labe.
Mem
I
to
can't
Labe.
get it to catch on.
It's okay. This is how we're going to do it. Mem to Labe, everybody.
Okay, welcome.
Here first.
Welcome to Kill Me Now.
I'll spread it.
With Judy Gold is the host and creator.
Yay!
Yeah,
and star, and then Lauren is here. Shit, I can't believe I'm eating. We have one of my favorite people is here.
We always start the show with you chewing when we do it at your house.
I know. I'm sorry, guys, because I'll tell you why after. But I've known this guest. How many years have we known each other?
Probably 23.
23 years.
I mean, I certainly met you when I first started doing stand-up.
Right.
I'm doing stand-up 24.
Okay. So we're going to go with 23 years.
Old school buds.
And she has appeared on a lot of television. Last Comic Standing. First season of Last Comic Standing. And was a finalist.
Made it to the end.
You were the one in the living in the house.
Lived in the house.
Yes.
I lost to the Vietnamese guy.
Because he is so funny, that fan.
And he's got so much going on.
Right.
You were
you have had 5 appearances on The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson. 7. Let's change that in my notes. 7. appearances on Late
Which
Late Show.
basically means that only comedians and nursing mothers have seen me because it was on so late.
Well, they're the ones with the best senses of humor.
Yes, but I got so many emails from nursing mothers.
Are you kidding me?
Well, because who else is up at 1?
I didn't even introduce you yet.
That's so funny.
Letterman? How many times?
That was once.
Nice.
But then I was the warm-up for Letterman.
You were after Eddie? Oh, we'll discuss that. And you've had specials on Comedy Central and HBO.
Eons ago.
But you also, are we allowed to talk about the new one? The new show you just
AGT?
did? Yeah.
We could talk about AGT. And
America's Got
we
Talent.
could talk about Colbert. That was
And you did Colbert.
this month. Yeah.
Which was great, by the way. I saw your Colbert.
Thanks.
And I liked it.
Thank you.
I haven't seen that one.
And you were on, in 2008, you were on the Next Food Network Star, which we're going to discuss your food thing. You are a grandmother, a recent grandmother.
A gilf.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
And a mother, and your son is young. So it's like you're the grandmother of a baby and the mother
My
of...
granddaughter is going to be at my son's bar mitzvah.
That's wild. That's so crazy.
And walking.
Well, hopefully.
Well,
let's hope,
she
doesn't have any... Ladies and gentlemen, the incredible Cory Kahaney! Woo!
Thank you.
Cory. We were going to go to CBS, but then I got an appointment with the ear, nose, and throat doctor.
Right.
At 3. And then at 3:30, I said, I have to go because you haven't brought me in. And then the nurse comes out and says, I don't even know. And then, so I was a little late because of the ear, nose, and throat doctor because I can't stop snoring. I'm always blocked. I feel blocked right now. I'm going to have a sleep study done.
And you just had cheese.
I'm so sick of it. When she started going off...
With the dairy?
This is my kill me... I have so many kill me now moments, but when she started going off... First I said, I'm getting a little heartburn lately, right? So...
That can be from the antidepressants, though. My sister,
really?
Both of us have been struggling with that. It's...
Oh, that we don't even have to ask one of our questions.
No, we don't.
Oh, one of our questions that we ask at the end is, are you on any what medications?
Not only, but it gives you heartburn.
Right. Which ones are you on?
I'm on the generic Wellbutrin.
Oh, me too.
Yes, but bear in mind, that could be the heartburn.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Amelia, my sister, had to go down in a dose, and she's eating, she does it with, she's careful to do it with...
Oh,
food.
Really? Because I just increased my Wellbutrin.
To 300?
And lowered my Paxil.
Did you increase the Wellbutrin to 300?
No, it's 150, I think, or something. I don't know.
150 is not going to do anything, but go ahead.
You don't know that? I'm sensitive.
I just went down from 300 to...
I got to go look at my thing. Anyway, yeah.
But are you taking it on an empty stomach? So this is Jews. We have to talk
Yeah,
about...
so I will have my coffee, and I will take it after I have a bite of something. Like, sometimes I usually have something in my stomach. It could be like a banana, but I always have something in my stomach when I take my antidepressant.
Maybe have it just a hair later in the day, like around 10:30, 11.
Okay, I took them at 1 something today.
Okay.
Because you know why?
Heartburn?
Oh, I haven't had heartburn today.
I have a little home remedy for heartburn.
What?
If you want to know about it.
Farting?
It's a pinch. Oh, well, that helps. Of burping also. It's a pinch of baking soda. You just put it in your coffee. It'll lower the acid of your coffee, or put it in a little shot glass with some water and take
Not
it.
Jewish,
Your
not
heartburn
Jewish.
I'm
will
not
go
messing
away
with this coffee.
right away.
Wait, you have to... Is it...
Just a tiny little pinch of baking soda neutralizes the acids in your stomach. So you can even just take a little shot of warm water.
Well, back when our parents were young, they took a bicarb, remember?
Oh, yeah, bicarb!
It really helps, and it
my father drank buttermilk.
well,
Buttermilk. He used to have a glass of buttermilk.
How's he
Dead.
doing?
He's
Well,
dead.
there you go.
74 years old, heart attack.
The buttermilk makes sense because it's also it's like yogurt, and they say the yogurt.
Yeah, he drank a lot of yogurt. Ate a lot of yogurt, too. My father was a healthy man, but you have the genetics. You have the genetics, Cory.
His history.
Now, Cory, I find your life fascinating. Now, you lived in Ardsley as a youngster. Is that correct?
I did.
Hudson?
Yeah, Ardsley Hudson River.
Okay.
Yeah.
Went to school around there. I'm just getting that.
Where are you from?
Hawaii.
I'm from Hawaii, but I went to Nyack for a year.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Rockland.
Rockland County.
Yes.
Okay.
You know why Rockland people are always in a bad mood?
Yeah,
Because they can't afford Westchester. And
Oh, that's
people will
good.
understand that.
All right.
Why? Oh shit.
Okay, so Corey, you then lived overseas. Is that correct?
Correct. A couple of times. I lived in Europe when I was 9, and my
Right.
parents split up there.
Okay, so tell us that story because it's fascinating.
We moved to England. My father's work. My parents split up there. My mother took us back, and that's when we moved to the Upper East Side.
Okay, so your father was
He worked for American Optical, which then became Bosch and Loam.
and what did he do?
He was at the time sales.
Oh, I thought he was a scientist.
No, but he did invent something.
What did he invent?
And he didn't patent it properly.
Like a
and so
fucking idiot.
Yeah,
There's so many Jew family stories like that.
My father invented the first scratch-resistant plastic lens.
Oh.
So not the scratch. There are scratch-proof glass lenses, completely scratch-proof. But I think.
And then what happened?
Well, the patent lawyer, whatever it wasn't ironclad, and so Bosch and Loam took it.
Fuck them. You know, I think my grandfather was in on the first
But I would be,
hair
we would
growth
be really
product.
wealthy if he had done it.
Yeah.
hair growth product.
You mean like minoxidil?
Yeah, and you know the story. It goes down to generation. And then he was in, and then he said no, and
The funny thing is, the things that my father did patent correctly never took off. Like he had that sugar dispenser where it was like you pressed a button and just the certain amount comes out for like a teaspoon
Oh,
of
yeah,
sugar.
I remember
People
that.
had them all. No,
yeah, and they'd have them in their
nobody-
purses,
and they broke. No. This was like it looked like it was like a silver,
like a Tic Tac thing.
No, it was a silver server. It looks kind of like a syrup bottle that you would get in a diner.
Okay, got
and you
you.
press it down, but nobody wanted that.
Oh, poor.
The other thing he got messed up on is he invented, the sharper image, the reading glasses that fold up into
Yes.
a little case that looks like a cigarette lighter. My father had the first ones. Didn't patent that correctly.
Damn. Your dad was brilliant. And
Fuck it.
also.
Okay, so why'd your parents go to divorce?
Oh, I think my mother was psychotic.
You think? Well, I'm glad you came to that conclusion. Okay, so
My mother actually left him, which was, if you think about it,
you don't
it's
do
totally
that.
laughable.
Okay,
You know,
so she leaves him.
she
Does he-
thought she could do better than my
Right.
father, which was hilarious.
All right, so she leaves him, and does he stay in England
He stays in England.
until you are how old?
He stays in England, and to my father's credit, he spent thousands and thousands of dollars waging a custody battle from Europe, which was, this is in the 70s.
Do you remember the time in England?
Sure. I
Really?
went to Catholic school. Judy.
No
I went
way!
to Catholic school that
Why?
1 year because where we lived, that was the best school in the area, and it was dirt cheap, so it was
Right.
like either free or dirt cheap.
Wait, did you have nuns and stuff?
Nuns and stuff. I
Did they know you
loved
were
it.
Jews?
Yes.
A Jew?
And every time anything about Abraham or Moses came up, they would say, "And Corey, why don't you speak on this topic?" And I'd be like,
Oh.
"What?
Wait, I have to get my whistle. Hold on.
So awesome.
Anytime we mention a Jew, a whistle goes off.
Sometimes.
Getting my
we're
whistle,
lucky.
everyone. Here we go.
Can I tell you? I begged them to let me take communion because all the kids did it
Why?
but
You
me.
were hungry?
Did they let you?
Well, it was a big deal, and so they kept discussing it. And then finally, I think it was right before a particular holiday weekend, the nun just said, "Well, I'm not watching who goes up."
Oh, that's sweet.
All you had to do, you did this, you did the sign of the cross. They put the thing on your mouth,
You were fine.
and you got a little
And a
wine.
cracker, and then you get to be included. In
So wait, did they ever say, did they point you out for being a Jew?
They did. They did. They constantly were like, "Well, maybe we have a student here who can speak on this subject."
Well, the thing with
And and I'd be like, "Well, Abraham didn't kill his son because God told him in the end he didn't have to," and
Right.
it's very funny.
That's kind of cute.
Okay, so then you go back to the Upper East Side.
Then instead of moving back to Ardsley, we moved to The Upper East, 88th between 5th and Madison.
Okay, and that's a nice area.
Very nice area.
And were you wealthy?
We had the one apartment building with no doorman. It was like that kind of thing. But still, I went.
And where'd you go to school?
I went to PS6 for 1 year, and then
that's a great school.
And then I went to private school because I was not going to that middle
Where'd
school.
you go to private school?
I went to Rhodes. Remember Rhodes?
RHODES.
And Rhodes then was bought by Calhoun, so theoretically.
So, but that's on the west side, Calhoun. Yeah. So you moved. So you started going to school on the west side.
Actually, when I went to Rhodes, Rhodes was on 54th between 5th and 6th, and then when Calhoun bought the school, Rhodes was on, the lower campus of Calhoun, which is on 73rd. This is so boring for people, but yes.
Okay, whatever. Okay, so then you're there to what grade?
I was there, I think, just 1 year.
And then where'd you go?
Then my father got custody.
And where'd you go?
At that point, they were living in France.
Okay. So then you go to France.
Me and my sister went to live with my dad in France.
And how old were you then?
12.
Oh, Jesus.
Till when?
Till I stayed with my. You mean how long were we in Europe? Till 16.
And then?
And then when my father sold his company in Europe, he wanted to come back to the United States, and they didn't want to go to New York because they hated the weather, so they went to San Diego.
Oh my God! You went. Okay, let's review. Bardsley.
In fairness, La Jolla.
I love La Jolla.
Which is, there's no.
So you graduated high school in La Jolla?
No, I didn't graduate from high school in La Jolla. I went to boarding school in Ojai, which is near Santa Barbara.
Oh, yes.
Once my father got custody, I then immediately went to boarding schools. I mean, they waged this tireless campaign to get me. And then by then my father had this young, hot wife. And
did you like her?
She had no idea. I liked her. I was there when she got her period. And, we had very close relations.
Wow.
She's kidding.
Great.
Yeah.
No, I'm just
okay, wait. So was she Jewish?
Yes, very. Very.
Like how Jewish?
Like we never had Hanukkah in this woman. When my parents were still married, we had Christmas.
They were they were both Jewish.
They wanted to just be totally assimilated.
Okay. So then you go to boarding school, and you lived in boarding school.
I went to boarding school. In England. That didn't work out. I was politely asked to go.
To American Farm.
And then I went. And then when you get thrown out of one boarding school, my father drove me to this nunnery in Switzerland, and I was terrified. And he goes, "Don't worry. But if you get kicked out of this school, this is where you're going to end up."
Ooh.
So then I was good.
So how do you feel about the boarding school experience now that you were shipped
in my
off?
life, I went to 3.
Yeah.
And I have to say, for kids that are going through tumultuous and difficult divorces, it was the happiest time of my life was when I was in boarding school.
Okay. Did you make a lot of friends?
I did, and it just honestly felt safe. And even though some of these places were wacky. I think the reason why I have any sanity at all is because of these schools.
Now, did your sister, your lesbian sister, go?
And that's why I sent my daughter. My daughter went to boarding school in Ohio. She went to the same one that I went to.
Oh, did she love it?
She loved it.
Okay, so did your sister...
She was at the same school as your son, and the principal at your son's school called me. I was in Aspen. I was with you in Aspen. We were doing my first festival.
Right.
And she said, I don't think Ariel's going to make it, into 10th grade. And
this is Ruth who called you.
I think it was Ruth.
Yes, it is Ruth.
And that's when we had to make some fast decisions. And so she finished. She went to. I knew if I put her in another school in New York City, she was just going to find the same friends.
Right. Yeah. All right. So
they were all doing the E.
Right.
They were doing the E. They were doing it all weekend. It was ruining kids' brains.
Yeah. Now
Some of them were talking with these high voices.
Yeah.
And my pediatrician said, just get her out of New York. And that's what we did.
Okay. So here you are. You graduate from boarding school. Is your sister at the same boarding school?
My sister was at the same boarding school in Switzerland. But when we moved to California, my parents tried to make a go of being parents to her.
Okay, and so you were shipped away, but they were parents to her. How do you think that affected?
They were parents to her for 2 years, and then they sent her to boarding school.
Oh, all right.
And she went to DeSisto in the Bronx.
Oh, yes, I worked at the DeSisto school. Oh, my God.
Yes.
Oh, my God, Lord Jesus, DeSisto.
For those of you who DeSisto. No, DeSisto was almost like a cult.
Oh,
all kinds
almost.
of famous kids went there.
Yeah.
It was at the time.
And then he came out finally at the end. He came out before he died. He came out of the closet.
As being gay? Or
Yes.
as being, but he ran that school. I mean, it was, these kids were, Jeannie never actually graduated. She graduated, academically, but she did not make it through every level that you were of enlightenment to actually graduate.
And did she go to school, college?
And to this day, Jeannie will tell you that I screwed up her life because I had been a bad kid. My parents weren't going to put up with it anymore, so they sent her. They did a preemptive strike by sending her there.
No.
It was crazy land there.
It was crazy.
Are they Scientology?
No, they're just...
I'll give you an example. If something went missing, the entire school would have to sit on the lawn until the person got up and said, and this was 400 kids would sit on a lawn all day sometimes if someone didn't want to come forward.
I mean, would someone just come forward to end it all?
And then if you had to go to the bathroom while you were on the lawn, you had to be leashed, meaning somebody had to go with you, and there was some really...
Yeah, militant.
His wife was nice.
Nelson's son was there.
Who?
Judd Nelson's
Oh,
was
yeah.
there. A couple of...
and then he did a cabaret series in the summertime.
Yes.
And
and the kids
would work
the cabaret.
Yes.
They would be waiters and waitresses.
Would they get paid?
No, these were the kids whose parents didn't even want them in the summer.
Boy, that's
horrible.
some Miss Hannigan shit.
Right. Okay.
I would love to see both of you play Miss Hannigan, by the way.
Okay.
Rep.
That's great.
It would
This
be a
is an
great
example
for me.
of you going off topic and annoying me.
Oh.
Okay, you are going to be on VP soon.
But you know what? It really does sound like I'm more cultured than I am, and
Oh, just shut up. Okay. So then,
I'm not as snobby as I come.
I know. Okay, so then you don't come off snobby. I have to say that Mac Weldon, I don't know if you've heard of Mac Weldon, and you have a husband and a son.
Right.
And I've gotten the products for my children. They have the most unbelievable underwear, like that really apparently makes the balls and the whole package feel supported, but also airy and light and not sweaty. And they have T-shirts. They have socks. I have a lot of their socks. You know what they have? Those socks where you can't see the sock.
Oh, I got some of those socks too.
Yeah, they're really good.
Down,
and it has a.
They don't dip in because I hate those.
No, it has a little thing on the that sticks to your on the edge. It's so good. They have a grip. They're really good.
Because I have big feet and they.
Hello, 12 and a half. No, perfect. I'm going to show them to you.
Same with the boxers.
You don't have to write it
No,
down.
I just want to make sure Rufus is.
Oh, all right. And then if you
boxer briefs don't roll up either, which is a big issue.
like they have boxers that you can get boxers.
You're going to forward it to me. I want to get all of this.
All right,
This is
Mac
amazing.
Weldon.
This is stuff that you could wear during a workout and then wear after, and no one would know you just worked out.
All right. So MacWeldon.com.
MacWeldon.com. Use code KILLME.
All right. So then you graduate, and where do you go to culinary? Where do you go? The Cordon Bleu? Where do you go?
Well, I went to La Varenne, which was a small private cooking school in Paris.
Right.
Yes. And while I was there, I did an internship at a Michelin guide. It was a 3-star.
Uh-huh.
So when I came back from France, I had those two. I had the degree and the credit, and it was I was all.
So do you have a bachelor's degree or you have a culinary?
I have a culinary degree. When I graduated from high school, I did it. I graduated in 10th grade, and I didn't tell my parents that I was graduating until a month before because I wanted to go home. I'd never lived at home,
Right.
So they were like, "Oh, and they were trying to get me into these, into these."
So did you go to the Culinary Institute at the age of 16?
No, when which would have been 11th grade, I ended up going to like some community college, and then I did a year at San Diego State. I never actually got a bachelor's degree.
Okay. So you graduated high school in 10th grade.
Yeah. And then I ended up, later on, I went to culinary school.
Okay. So then how do you meet your first husband?
Well, I moved to New York on my own when I was 18, and I went to acting school.
Where?
I went to
HB?
Michael Chekhov Studios.
Oh,
which was,
nice, yes.
Which was affiliated with Tisch, but I
Right.
couldn't afford Tisch. But I was with the same kids as Tisch.
That's cool.
Right.
So I just lied and said I went to NYU.
Good.
All right, that's good.
Yeah.
And I did that program.
Okay.
And when I was there, I met him.
And what was he doing?
He was an adjunct professor at Columbia
In psychology? What? In
Education.
What? Education.
at Teachers College.
Same age as you, a little older.
8 years older.
Jewish?
Yes.
It's interesting that you kept with the Jews after you had that, nunnery. What?
Christians love Jews. You're the originals. That's how they think of you.
Yeah.
Catholics and Christians.
And then
they're anti-Semitic, I get it, but they love the idea of Jews.
Right. Okay.
We had an anti-Semitic lady at the school in Switzerland, and because once a month they brought in somebody to do the finishing stuff. Because even though it wasn't like a traditional Swiss boarding school, we still had to have somebody to come in and
school?
Yes,
like crossing your legs a certain way and things.
That, and you know which fork to use and how to behave at a fine. I could give a steak dinner.
I don't
really
do that, to be honest.
Okay, so you go.
But anyway, so I was of course the comedian, always funny, and I was like making fun of her because she was old and she was a mess and she smelled bad, and I was making jokes, and she caught me once. And she poured a pitcher of ice water in my head, and she said, "You're stupid and uncouth because you're Jewish."
Wow.
And she's the one pouring shit all over you.
And the funny thing was, the head of the school said to me, "I would watch it." To her, she said, "Because a lot of your family were in the camps. You might want to be careful."
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. She put her in her place.
Wow.
Good, you fucking asshole.
Self-hating piece of shit.
Okay.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
I have to tell you, I had pushed her. I mean, I had tortured this woman for a long time. I mean, I'm kind of surprised it went as long as it did before she poured the ice water on me.
Well,
now,
good.
if someone did that now, forget it. You lose your teacher's license.
I would never work again. The lawsuit would pay for everything.
Okay. So, you meet the guy.
The first husband, yes. I met him on Columbus Avenue. Remember when that used to be, like, exciting?
Yeah. So you're on Columbus Avenue.
Was that like
in the 80s?
It was like the most happening place.
Yeah.
It was like a slum that turned, gentrified.
Yeah, it was the
overnight.
first. It was the first real gentrification.
Ruels.
Yes. Oh yeah. So you meet him, like just walking down the street.
No, I was dating his best friend. And his best friend always said, "You got to meet Howard. He's the greatest. You two have so much in common. You should meet Howard. You should meet Howard."
So you met Howard.
Met Howard.
And he was right.
He was right.
Okay, so how old are you when you meet Howard?
Just turned 18.
And where are you working at this point?
Where am I working? I'm waitressing at Charlie O's.
Oh.
Remember Charlie O's?
Yeah, but why aren't you doing
I'm
sous chefing and stuff like that?
Because eventually that's what took me. I was constantly a waitress, but I was the worst waitress. Like I was the waitress who would end up in the kitchen cutting things. And people would say, "Why don't you just take a prep cook job? You'll make more money than with the tips." Because I'd go in the kitchen. I spoke French. I'd hang out with the people. I hated that whole kind of. I felt like a whore. You have to be nice to people just to get.
I know.
Oh, yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It was really. It felt like such deception, which is why I'm not an actress, Judy. I'm not. I like it's. It's so hard to be me. I don't want to be somebody else.
Okay. Well, that's why a lot of people do it, because they don't want to be themselves.
Or because they're most themselves.
Or maybe because I'm afraid to totally show whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because I so admire your acting. Like when I saw Judy in the Shakespeare thing. It wasn't Judy. It was somebody else.
Oh, thank you, Cory Kahaney.
Very impressive.
I saw Judy very much, but I thought it went.
Occasionally she would sort of wink to the audience.
But
it's me.
She's a brilliant actor, and her dramatic stuff, I've only seen a little bit of it, but she really should get more dramatic roles.
Oh, I know. Well, this new thing I just did, hopefully.
It was dramatic?
Yes.
Can you say anything about it?
Well, I have some very nice scenes with Melissa Leo.
Okay.
Cool.
That's all I have to say. Anyway, it's not about me.
All right.
So, you meet Howard. When do you marry Howard? How old are you?
I married Howard when Ariel was 2 months old. I had the baby first.
How old were you when you had the baby?
22.
So you date him.
Yeah.
You get pregnant. Did you live together?
All right. So I moved in with Howard, and Howard got a job in L.A. in the Valley, teaching at that school where all the fancy kids go.
Okay.
in Studio City. Where Moon Zappa went.
You'll find that out, right?
Yeah.
Hennessy, are you looking that up?
I am right now.
That's right. Go ahead.
I want to say Oakwood. I think.
Oh yeah, I think it is Oakwood. Yes, it is Oakwood.
Great.
Yes,
So
it is. Yes.
He's at Oakwood.
It's Oakwood.
He's at Oakwood, and he got this really great job. So we moved to LA, and his parents were in LA, so they got us this car. We had a Camaro.
Oh, nice.
So strange. And
56.
And we lived in Hollywood, and I was going to be, I was an actress, so this was perfect, and he was going to be.
Wait, no culinary stuff going on?
Not
now?
yet. The culinary stuff really came after. I was an actress. I was waitressing in LA, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, he had this nice job at Oakwood and with all the celebrity kids. And, it feels like it's going to be the greatest thing. And he proceeds to have an affair with one of the students at Oakwood.
Fuck.
I'm the only person who is 19 years old.
That is not the good Jew bell.
Oh,
I'm
that's
the
the
only
bad
person
bell.
who's 19 years old whose boyfriend is sleeping with a younger woman.
Yeah, what the?
That is unbelievable. You're 19 and he's sleeping with a student. How old's the student?
Okay, I think fooling around is a better word. I don't think,
Okay,
it's fooling
diddling,
around.
diddling.
It's fooling around. At this point, it's fooling
He's
around.
molesting. How old?
Well, she's getting in the car with it. She's all over him. She calls the house all the time.
How old is she?
She's obsessed. 16 years old.
Oh, vey. So he wasn't even trying to hide that.
And how old was he?
Maybe she was 17.
So he's 26 or 27?
Yeah. 26 or 27. I'm not saying it was not.
But then you
horrible.
proceed to have a child with him.
So let me finish. So when it all blows up and it's the most horrible thing.
Does he lose his job?
Loses his job. They've saved. And they did their best to. They let him leave without any recommendation.
Okay.
There was no, because the truth is the girl was so in love with him. She begged her parents. Whatever. So I'm leaving him. This is
right.
And this was the beginning of my codependency. He's on the floor grabbing my knees. Please don't leave me. Please don't leave me. You're the only person. And I'm buying it. And I said, listen, I will stay with you until we move back to New York, but we're getting the hell out of here. Mm-hmm. And I worked at Cantor's.
Cantor's Deli.
I worked the graveyard shift at Cantor's, and for those of you who know Cantor's, it's disgusting,
yes.
horrible. But I worked so I worked midnight to 8 a.m. And every single night, if a table walked out without paying, I had to pay it. I had gypsies.
Right.
Gypsies ripped me off. I waited on Terry Garr and
no way.
And the other one in Tootsie,
Dustin Hoffman.
I waited on Super Freak. What's the guy? Rick James.
Yeah.
I waited on everyone. Anyway, so one night I'm waiting. It's like 4:00 in the morning, and these group of teenagers come in, and guess who's sitting at this table?
The molesting.
Yes, the girl that's ruined his life, the girl that's ruined.
Oh my God!
And I'm hearing the whispering and the pointing and the giggling and and I go to the manager. I said, I can't take that table. You have to take that table. It's in your station. I said, I'll take the gypsies. Just anybody take that. Nobody would take that. So I had to wait. I had to wait on this rich girl who had ruined my life.
And your husband's life.
And my husband's life.
How much of your bodily fluid did you put into her food?
I was so in shock of it all.
It's the least she could.
But because there was this tiny bit of still ambition in me. I don't want to say exactly who this person is, but his father, this girl's father, ran Laura Marr. And at the time, if you were Dynasty,
right,
a lot of
so
shows.
you in the back of your head, you're like, I can't.
So I gave the check and I said, if you wanna fix this, I want to get my SAG card.
No way.
Good for you.
I got my SAG card.
Are you fucking me?
What?
Thank you.
One
You are
line.
my hero. You're my hero, and that is how you.
Wait, so you said that to her?
On the check, because she had been torturing with the giggling and the pointing, and on the check I said, she just said, all I can say is I'm really, really sorry. I'm really, really sorry, but I want you to know that I really loved him, and I wasn't trying to hurt you, and all this crazy stuff. And I said, listen, I'm glad that you are able to go on with your life. Our life is completely shit. And she said, well, what can I do to make it up for you? And I said, and I wrote it on the check. I said, I'd like to get my SAG card.
Never been more proud of anyone.
And you got your SAG
I
card.
got my SAG card.
Good for you.
And then I thought, okay, we're done. And we went back to, we were going back to New York.
Right.
But I had made...
Like in the back of your head,
Yeah.
every time you were with him, were you thinking he was with a 16, 17-year-old girl?
I kind of knew. Oh, you mean after?
Yeah.
You know, I was 19, so it didn't feel like...
Right.
It didn't feel like... She was 17. I was 19. It wasn't like... It didn't feel like he was with a child.
Just cheating.
You know, he was...
Do you have any idea where that person is right now?
I do not.
Okay. So you come back to New York after Cantor's.
So
after you get your SAG card.
Also, by the way, while I'm working the graveyard shift at Cantor's, he's doing some kind of terrible telemarketing thing. We're just trying to make enough money to go back to New York to do last month's rent for 2 apartments.
Couldn't you just get rid of the fucking car his parents got you?
His parents leased it. We were giving it back to them.
Oh, God.
Okay, so that all we were trying to do was make enough, just a nut so that we could go back to New York, and separately was the plan. But he ended up hitting it big doing this telemarketing thing, and he ended up with, I don't know, an extra $2,000, which was a lot of money.
Right.
It was a lot of money back then. And he said, just come with me, we'll go for 1 week to Mexico.
Oh my God, that's...
Okay.
And you know how spent I was after that Cantor's? I mean, I've never...
Yeah, so you go to Mexico.
I go to Mexico. We go to Mexico. The first day we're in Mexico, the president leaves, runs off, and the peso devalues, and so our $2,000 was worth like $10,000. So we stayed in Mexico for like a month.
No way.
And he worked really hard on trying to make it up to me.
And then?
And then I said, okay, let's go to New York. Well, I'll stay with you for 6 months. Let's see how it goes.
Okay, you go to New York.
And
you get prego?
Howard was one of these guys who could get anything from anyone for nothing. And I don't know, he talked himself into a job in New York that was very prestigious and paid well. And he, I was impressed. And and then I got pregnant.
Sunbasket is this food program.
It's a food program. It is organic, like it's really healthy.
You have a subscription, okay? You go to sunbasket.com /gold.
Really, /gold. Sunbasket.com/gold.
And they will send you three boxes of meals. And in these meals, you can choose a breakfast and 2 dinners.
Yeah, the breakfast looks really good. They have huevos rancheros.
Yeah, I just got a salmon plate that Hunda and I are cooking tonight. My wife Hunda just got diagnosed with cancer that she's going to be fighting soon. So I really wanted. Thank you. But I really wanted to. I've been planning on changing our diet to a more organic, healthy, type of diet or whatever treatment she's going to be getting. I want to.
Yeah, you don't want it's like you don't want the preservatives. You don't want.
And these sponsors came along at the perfect time. Sunbasket, they let you choose from paleo, non-gluten.
Yeah, it's really good.
Vegetarian, vegan options. It's all organic and all from your local farm.
And the choices are like.
Excellent.
Breakfast. Like, you never want to make breakfast, but you want your kid to have, like, a decent breakfast, but the huevos rancheros is really good.
Oh, delicious. And if you don't have time, they send you the exact measurements you need for everything.
Yeah.
If you need an egg, they'll send you 1 organic egg. If you need, like, a teaspoon of cayenne, they'll send you the teaspoon of cayenne.
It's really good.
A bit of oil. It's great. I love the chia morning pudding. I got one this morning, and that is delicious. And I'm really looking forward to being able to feed Hunda and not have to worry about it, because organic food and gluten-free food is so fucking expensive.
I know.
And so much of it ends up going to.
If you go to Half Foods, it's really Half Foods. It's really expensive, but this stuff is awesome. Sunbasket.com/gold, GOLD, and you get
3 free meals.
3 free meals, and they're friggin' awesome. Thank you, Sunbasket.
So you get pregnant, and at any point did you think, I don't want this baby?
Oh, yeah.
But...
Do you really want to hear this story?
This is fascinating.
This is
fascinating.
I hope my daughter never hears. So we go. Listen, I'm not I'm very pro-choice.
Yeah.
And so we are making the choice. And
right.
we go down to take care of it, and apparently I was not within the 90 days. Apparently I was 5 months pregnant.
Wow, and you didn't even know? So you're like those girls that in the prom when they give birth in the toilet.
I was having irregular bleeding. It was not clear, and also I was working again. I was one of those.
Didn't you gain weight? Didn't your tits hurt?
My tits hurt.
How are you a Jewish girl who doesn't know she's 5 months pregnant? When did you think you were pregnant?
I think for the sake of the audience, maybe they're eating. Let's not go into detail. All I'm going to say,
no one's eating.
All I'm going to say is they said, come back tomorrow, we're going to do a second trimester. So it was all set to go for a second trimester. And same thing. That night, he was, down on the floor, grabbing my knees. I want this baby. I love this baby. I need this baby. And we ordered Chinese food. And we said we would decide based on the fortune cookie.
Good.
That is so. What was the fortune cookie?
And the fortune cookie said, what do you call it? It was something along the lines of your luck is going to change or something. It was something banal. You could read anything
in bed.
You could read anything into it, and I decided to have the baby.
Damn, did you keep the fortune?
Now, let it be said, I have no regrets.
Wait, did you keep the fortune?
I think so. I think I still have it somewhere. It's in like a box.
You should give it to her.
But having Ariel really changed my life, though.
Of course.
If I didn't have that anchor, I wouldn't have worked so hard. I wouldn't have got out of that horrible marriage. I mean, all those things made me grow up, made me work harder, and also made me go after my dream. Because once I got out of that marriage, which was the hardest thing I've ever done, honestly, I knew I could do anything.
Okay, so
he was like a Svengali. You have to understand.
Right.
He was a crazy, incredibly powerful. When you see Jim Jones making people take,
I
was that character.
Okay, so how old is Ariel when you get divorced?
4 when it starts. AIDS is the reason why I got divorced. You're going to get all these great stories.
Yes.
God, this is
AIDS.
incredible.
AIDS is the reason. So it's everyone's dying of AIDS.
Yeah.
Wait, so you're also at this point you're a young mother, and where are you living?
We're living on 109th in a walk-up, and
Upper West Side.
Upper West Side. And again, this is yet another crazy thing. So,
and this area at that time is horrible.
Horrible. But
you had V&T and the Hungarian pastry shop.
Right. And also Cory, the
chicken. The
Cuban Chinese.
Yeah.
So Howard has rented 4 apartments under 4 different names.
No way.
He's subletting to Columbia students. That's how he's paying for his PhD. So he rented all these apartments. Had somebody come in and paint.
Right.
And he's renting these apartments for like $300 and $400, and he's charging like $1,000, $1,100. That's how he is supporting his family.
And he's at Columbia.
And he's doing his dissertation at Columbia.
For what?
He's finally getting his PhD in education.
Okay.
So I mean, he had always had these crazy things going.
Schemes. All right.
Right.
So what's the last straw?
Okay. So his best friend Hector gets sick. Gets AIDS. Gets AIDS, and he's been our friend for a long time.
What's that the guy you were dating at first?
No.
No, okay, great, sorry.
No. I was
trying to keep up.
I wasn't with anyone who had AIDS.
Right.
Luckily.
So Hector's really sick, and Hector calls both of us to come to the hospital room. So
Which hospital?
He was at Roosevelt.
Okay.
In Hell's Kitchen. Mm-hmm. And so he said, I want to just talk to Cory first. And I'm sitting there, and the baby's and the kid's on my lap or whatever. And he said, alone. So I give Ariel to Howard, and he said, you can't stay with him. She can't grow up seeing you like this. He said, I remember who you were when he married you. You were a happy, you did act. I mean, look at you. I don't even know who you are anymore.
Right.
You're going to die if you stay with him.
Wow.
And here's the person dying, and I'm crying, and I loved Hector too. So he said, now I want to talk to Howard. So Howard comes in, and he gives Howard his apartment. He tells him, just try a trial separation. Just take my apartment. His apartment was like a great apartment.
Why couldn't you get the apartment?
He knew Howard would get the fuck out if he gave him the apartment.
Wow, I love Hector.
And the second that Howard got out, I changed the locks. even though I said it was trial separation, that's when I finally, once I knew I had him out of the house. I also, Hector's apartment was a studio.
Good. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Hector.
I love Hector.
Shout out to
Hector, we love you, Hector.
Long live Hector.
What was Hector's last name?
Cousinal, Cousinal, something like that.
We love you, Hector.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank God. And then Hector died soon after.
Hector died soon after. But Howard got to keep, and they didn't let Howard keep the apartment forever. He ended up, but for the year and a half he had that apartment, he was out, and he was so mad. He really thought it was a trial separation, but I changed those locks.
So did he ever see Ariel? Like, did he get custody? He had visiting,
yes.
whatever. Okay. So you then, what do? We're not in culinary land yet.
No, we're not.
And we're not in stand-up land yet.
Towards the end of that marriage, I was already a chef. I guess I had become a chef because I was a prep cook, and I kept getting promoted.
Right.
And I don't forget, I had cooked for so many years in Europe. And when you go to school in Europe, you're in the kitchens. That's a side job. So I knew all these basic things. I knew how to do, a souffle. I knew how to do
mise en place.
I did, right. I could do all kinds of
hollandaise.
All garde manger skills I already had.
Okay.
So I got moved up pretty quickly, and I was a chef.
Say garde manger one more time.
Garde manger.
Wow!
And so, at the end, I was by that point. I think I was an executive chef for a very small executive dining room at Deloitte Touche, which then was Deloitte Haskins and Sells.
Right.
But and so when we split up, I had enough to support us.
Okay.
Me and Ariel.
And so, where was Ariel going to school?
She was 87. PS
Okay,
87.
that's where my son Ben went. PS 87. Henry Winkler went to PS 87.
Hey.
Yes.
Jew. So
Just died. Right?
No.
Oh, Gary Marshall, sorry.
Yeah, Gary.
oh my God! Poo 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 poo. Kanahara.
Hamza.
So, all right. So you're bringing up this young. When do you get into the stand-up world?
So, when do I get? I was.
How do you start doing stand-up? I mean, you're making a living cooking.
By the way, once I got Howard out of the house, it still took 3 years to get that divorce, and it was really tough. And he was constantly breaking into the apartment.
He did not want to get a divorce.
Did not want the divorce.
What about his parents?
We had to put him in Payne Whitney twice. He lost his mind. Nobody had ever said no to Howard. No one had ever told Howard that he couldn't have what he wanted.
So is he an only child?
No, he's the oldest of three.
Oh, see, that's I know, I'm the youngest of three.
So it took a long time until I finally, I was working as a director of catering at this point. I had already gone to cooking school.
And you're a single mom.
I'm a single mom. I had a corner office, 80 people underneath me.
Wow.
I had a big job. And then everybody who was working for me was either a comedian or a singer or a dancer or an actor. And I was dating a comic.
Who?
Frank. Vanilla.
Oh, I love Frank.
And
wait, you dated him before you did stand-up?
I dated him before I did stand-up, and I dated him when he started stand-up. So I was always his people.
Right.
We would sit in the audience, and and it made me crazy because it was like, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. And then I'm leaving out one little piece.
What?
When I was 19, when I first met Howard, before my candle got put out, I did stand-up 5 times.
Oh, that's...
The first time I did stand-up, I passed at a club.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Kill Me Now with Cory Kahaney. Stay tuned next week for part 2 of Cory Kahaney. And thank you all for your patience on the shows being released a little oddly these last couple weeks. My wife has been having some health issues and Judy has been traveling, so it's been a little bit hectic, but we're back now. We're on track. We've got a plan, and we'll be a little bit more consistent now in our delivery of shows to you. I also want to mention one more time Our very important sponsor, Sunbasket. A huge part of healthy eating is just finding the time to do it, finding the money to do it. Unfortunately, healthy food usually costs a lot more than unhealthy food. But now there's an easy answer for you if you want to change your lifestyle. Taking the time to plan meals, go to the farmer's market, figure out portions, you end up wasting a lot of food and it all adds up. And if you're like me and you don't have all that time, God, I love Sunbasket. You're going to love it too. They deliver delicious, healthy recipes, fresh ingredients straight to your door. You can prepare them in 30 minutes or less. If you're paleo, they have paleo options. If you're vegetarian, they have vegetarian options. If you're gluten-free, they have gluten-free options. If you're a meat eater, they've got non-hormone, non-GMO meats. Meals created by award-winning chefs and approved by nutritionists also, which is really amazing. You can do it with your partner, with a friend, on your own. They offer boxes for families of 4. If you want that to be your whole week's food, that would be a good option. They've got portions for 2 people as well. Go to sunbasket.com/gold today and get your first 3 meals free. 3 organic, delicious meals. You have nothing to lose. You can try it and cancel if you want, but you won't want to. I guarantee this is an inexpensive, easy, no-brainer way to change your entire life and your entire spirit and your entire health. Thanks again for listening to this episode. We'll see you next week. So long.
And everything was wonderful. I'll see you soon. Thank you for the visit. So long.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.